Hey guys, it's Leah back with another Teeny Talks with my extremely teeny and gorgeously shimmery mic. It's just a prop. Crazy! Anyway, today I am going to be taking you through my top 10 songwriting tips. These are things that I wish I knew when I started really taking songwriting seriously, or just things that I've learned over the past nearly decade. Obviously, this is my process. Like all those TikTok tarot readers say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I'm just here to tell you what's worked for me. I'm not here to give you the be all end all advice because I don't have that information. I don't think anyone does. This is just what's worked for me, so take it with a grain of salt. Also, before I start, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support recently. Really means a lot to me. I have some new music coming so soon. There will be some Easter eggs in this video, so comment below if you think you found them. But yeah, let's get started. So my first tip is authenticity over popularity. The way that songs come out for me is in poetry first. And a lot of times the way that I write, it doesn't really sound like all the pop girlies that I love to listen to, like Tate McRae or Sabrina. And for a long time, I tried to kind of force my emotions into a box that was made by someone else. And nothing really ever felt authentic. But there was this one time that I was writing a song called Time for That. It's not on streaming, but I've performed it a lot with my band, and it's one of my favorite songs to perform. But that song only came out of me literally sitting down at a piano. I was so angry at this person I was dating. We weren't even dating actually. This person I was seeing was it was a situationship, but not. It was so confusing, and she was just confusing the heck out of me, and I was so angry about it. And so I wrote a song girl, I don't got time for your shit. I don't got time to sit here waiting for you to figure yourself out. I have a life to live too, girly. And that song literally, I was so scared when I played it for my band because I was I don't know, this feels so different from the other stuff I was trying to write, because it really wasn't in the quote unquote pop genre that I was trying to stick within. But every time we played at gigs, that's the song of mine that people respond to the most. And it's because it's so authentic. It's so me. It's so true to the emotion. My next tip, which is to just do it. I feel there's so many unknowns when it comes to songwriting, and I am someone that struggles with decision paralysis. I have ADHD. A lot of us, I feel are on that spectrum. If you're a perfectionist, it's so hard to do something that you're not good at, or that you don't have a roadmap of how to start. And even though it sounds really basic, I would say literally just do it. I started writing songs again. I had kind of grown up doing it. Because singing is just kind of how I process my emotions. I would never remember what I would sing about, but if I was feeling intense emotion, it would just come out in song. That's just how I work. Chose the athlete life for most of my life. I kind of gravitated away from that. If I'm upset at school and all I want to do is start singing, girl, you don't live in a musical. Was really just lost freshman year of college and just feeling like shit all the time. I went to a practice room and I had no idea what I was doing. I hadn't touched a piano in probably 6-7 years. I sat down in a practice room and I just forced myself to start playing, forced myself to just make sounds, forced myself to just try something. And every single day I would go to that practice room, just remind myself that no one could hear me but myself, and that I was working towards something that I was going to be grateful for later. I knew that something was pulling me into that practice room every day, and even if I didn't write a song, even if nothing came out of it, I was working towards something. I would not be where I am now as a writer if I didn't do that. Jumping into an ice bath, basically, is what it feels like when you start writing songs, because you don't know what you're doing. You don't have a roadmap, because everybody writes differently. Everybody has a different style. And yes, there are people that are able to find those patterns and replicate them to make pop hits. But the thing that people really respond to is authenticity. Authenticity over a beat, girl, you got it. It's golden. So if you are afraid, literally just go somewhere no one can hear you all the time, because I live with a roommate. Put on noise canceling headphones and play piano. Okay? Just do your thing and you'll be fine. You'll figure it out. My third tip is anytime you feel anything, make a habit of writing it down. So, my mom kind of taught me to do this. I made it a habit that anytime I'm feeling any emotion, I open my notes app. It's very personal, so this might not work for you. Getting in the habit of articulating your emotions is a great way to start songwriting, because once you learn how you articulate emotions, that goes back to being authentic. You can't be authentic if you don't know how to communicate yourself and communicate your emotions. So being in touch with them and being able to articulate them in words and in sound is really important. So the fourth thing is to practice improvising on one instrument. So I feel like growing up, I played guitar and I played piano, but I played piano for most of my life and then switched to guitar. And then pretty exclusively middle to high school, I played guitar only. Oddly enough, pretty much exclusively compose on piano. I feel like it is easier to choose a primary instrument and teach yourself to improvise on that primary instrument. Because for me, like, vocally, improvisation was pretty natural for me. On an instrument, it was extremely hard. I recently took a class in college, which is one of my leader tips, that really helped me as an improviser. But honestly, like, until I started sitting down at pianos and just trying out sounds and honestly, for me, I had to get away from theory a lot of the time. Like, I definitely use theory to inform certain things, but I'm not as obsessed with what I don't know. I'm more obsessed with what I do. Know is by ear, like, what sounds interesting on piano. Let's say you only know everything on the white keys. Play only the white keys and see what you can make just playing the white keys. There are so many white keys on that piano, all different octaves, the same notes, different octaves, but together they all sound different. See what you can do with that, or on a guitar. You can tune the strings to start on any note you want. Try that. Just see what happens. One chord shape, play it up and down the neck. Just start hitting random notes, picking differently. Just try things out, and I don't care how crazy or stupid you feel or what it sounds like, it's going to grow your ability as a musician, and that's just going to help you figure out what sounds you respond to the most. And that's like the basis of composition, is like, what sounds do people respond to and make you feel a certain way. My next tip is to collaborate. So I think I also really started growing as an artist when I got in a band, and I was really lucky enough when I transferred here. One of my friends was actually starting a band, and so collaborate with her as a songwriter. Also just learning voicings, learning how to play as a band, learning what instruments play what role. If you are in a place where you can't do a band, join a choir, join your school band, join the marching band. Just be in a place where you're with other people playing instruments, and you'll be really surprised with what comes out of it. The next thing I would say is to familiarize yourself with DAWs. If you don't know what a DAW is, it stands for a digital audio workstation. That's what you use to record music nowadays. An example is Logic Pro, Pro Tools, Ableton, Reaper is another one that's basically free. You can actually play any instrument, literally ever. There are samples of everything, even instruments that don't really exist, like certain synthesizer sounds or things like that are completely computer generated. Compose things with instruments you don't even know how to play. Like, I don't know how to play violin or viola personally, but I did it using the MIDI. There's effects that you can put on it to make it sound more realistic, to make it sound like everything was recorded in a certain type of studio or room. So definitely familiarize yourself with that, and also how microphones work. I feel like for me, it's really important that it sounds exactly how I want it to in my head. And so familiarizing yourself with the tools to help you do that is really important. Next, it's important to take classes. If you can take classes in songwriting or in music theory or just anything that will help you inform your writing, do it. I took poetry classes, I took music theory classes, I took music composition classes. Like, I've taken a lot of classes that have informed my process. Like, I wouldn't go into a music composition class like, this is exactly how you do everything, because the people that are teaching you also have their own process, and that's what they're teaching you. But it's so helpful to just get a better sense of what's out there and what tools you have at your disposal. So I would really recommend taking classes. There's also like master classes from like Christina Aguilera or like other amazing songwriters, like Alicia Keys has one. Like, there's so many classes online or YouTube channels or things like that. So do your research. Feel like you need more structure. That's a great way to get better at songwriting. Number 8 is study songs you love. This was one of like the best tips I've ever received. Listening to a song and analyzing why it works for me. Why does this fit in this artist's discography? For a Taylor Swift song, why do you know it's her before you hear her voice? How do you recognize from her lyrics that it's her? In a Tate McRae song, before she starts singing, you know it's her because of the beat. What are the elements of each person's discography that make it theirs? Number 9 is don't judge your creations. As a perfectionist, I've mentioned this before, it's so hard for me not to do that. But I have a mentor who, she was telling me the best thing that you can do is just write every day. And just sit down and write whatever comes out. It could be one line. It could be a chorus. It could be a verse. It could be a chord progression. It could be a single chord. It could be part of a melody line. Just anything. And don't force it to become a full song in that one sitting. Just put it away somewhere. Organically let things come out. I think that was really great advice for me because a lot of the songs that I wrote over the summer were kind of just stream of consciousness feel, and that ended up being kind of my style in a sense. But also, like, I feel like the stuff I'm writing now is so much more me. And that's because I've taken the time to let it marinate. Okay, if it takes a little longer, just work on it, work on your craft. And the last tip I have is pretty basic, but use voice memos. Or if you don't have an Apple phone, just record with something. Like, even just turn on your camera and record. Best thing that I started doing for myself is turning on a voice memo every time I sit down at a piano, every time I pick up my guitar. What used to happen is my brain would realize it's being recorded and would like freeze up. Now it's so natural. That way you're able to remember those epiphanic moments of, oh my gosh, Eureka, this is how it goes. This is how it's supposed to be. And being able to capture that in sound versus just writing, oh, play a G here. Oh, I did this thing, and trying to explain it and get yourself back in the moment. Actually capturing that moment is like the best feeling ever. Well, that was a lot. I hope you learned at least something from this video. I wanted to let you guys know that I'm working on an EP right now, an acoustic EP, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much to everyone who supported me thus far. Drop any of your songwriting tips down below. Let me know which was your favorite, which was most helpful to you. And I can't wait to see you guys later this week. I think I'm gonna start posting twice a week instead of once a week. Wednesday, Sunday, or Thursday and Sunday. So let me know. But thank you so much for watching, for all your support. And see you in the next one. Bye.